What's up, guys? Before I get into the video, I just want to let you guys know that our name will be changing from Red Hill Holler to Shoal Creek Holler. Shoal Creek is the creek that runs right behind our house and down the road. We're changing the name out of respect to our neighbors at Red Hill Acres. They're not mad about it or anything. I just picked the first name I could think of, and then after the fact I realized, well, that's awfully close to Red Hill Acres, so I'm going to change it to Shoal Creek Holler, and that's going to be the name of the channel going forward. I can't change the name on YouTube for 2 weeks since I just made the channel, so in 2 weeks you're going to notice the name change. When we sold our house to do the off-grid thing temporarily, one thing we were conscious of but didn't have a plan for was where we intended to get water. We are very fortunate to have a property that has a deep well that produces good clean water. The thing is though, the well's inside the house and the house is getting torn down, which is going to be a project we're going to be starting in the next few days, hopefully. The spot that it's in the house, there's no pump or anything in there, so to access the well to begin drawing water out, I need to tear out the room, at least the one room that the well is in, so that I can start building up a little well house and get some good water flow in here. To the best of my knowledge, this property isn't hooked up to city water. I've heard that it was, but I can't find a water meter anywhere by the road, and I've yet to find any plumbing running underground anywhere. So to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we're on city water, so I'm gonna have to get this well going. We didn't really have a plan for what we were gonna do about water. We just kind of had to figure that out as we went. What we ended up doing is, if you go to like Lowe's, there's a bunch of different places that have this, but if you go to Lowe's, that's where I go. By the exit door, there's these big racks of 5-gallon water jugs. They're these big blue jugs, and those are about $14 or $15 to get a full jug. They go in those Primo water stations is what they're for. So that's what we got. We got 4 of those jugs for a total of 20 gallons. But the exchange, if you go to Lowe's and you exchange your jugs out, they're going to charge you half the price of a new one. So that's like $6 or $7 per jug. And that seemed a little bit pricey to me. But then I found out that if you go to Publix, at their exit, they have a water fill station to where you can take your own 1 or 5-gallon jugs and you can put them into the machine, and for $2.50 it'll fill it back up for you. So that's what I've been doing. I've been taking these Primo 5-gallon jugs, I've been filling them up at Publix for $2.50 times 4 jugs. That's $20 every few days. We have to refill our 20 gallons like once every 2 to 3 days. And at the water filling station, that's about $2.60. It's $2.50 plus a 10-cent card processing fee, so that it comes out to $10.40 for 20 gallons of water every few days. That's not really an issue. What sucks is that we're about 25-30 minutes from the closest Publix, so I have to make sure that one of us goes and gets water every few days. And sometimes we don't have any business in town, so we have to make a special trip to go fill up our water. And here in a minute, I'll show you the fill setup that I have to where I pump this water into our RV. I'm gonna show you guys that at the end, but I just want to say that one of the best things you can do when you're living like this, where you know you may not have power for a while and you may not have running water for a while, is get to know your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors, be friendly with your neighbors, help your neighbors, and your neighbors will help you. And that's what we have found with Red Hill Acres. They're our neighbors, first and foremost. Aaron and Jessica have been kind enough to let me go down to their property where they have a water spigot at the end of their driveway, and they're letting me fill up my jugs there. And I cannot thank them enough for that. That's saving us a lot of time. It's saving us some money, and the only thing I have to do is, you know, help them out when they need something. But yeah, that's what it comes down to. Talk to your neighbors, be friendly with your neighbors, help your neighbors, and in an ideal situation, they'll help you too. I went down there and did some weed eating for them. I cleared out a whole bunch of overgrown weeds around their little package delivery shed, and cleaned up the area around the spigot and around their mailbox and stuff and down the side of their driveway. And now I have a place where we can get water close by and significantly cheaper. And here in a few days, we're going to start tearing out the house, and we're going to start with the area where the well currently sits. We're going to tear out that little room. We're probably not going to tear down the whole house all at once, but we're going to get it to where I can access the well. I have a pump, I have a filtration system. I should have enough wire. I may have to get some more wire. And the only thing I really need is the tubing that goes down into the well and connects to the pump, and probably a seal. I'll have to make up some kind of seal, because this is not the kind of well that you would see nowadays, where it's about 3 or 4 inches around and it's just a straight pipe in the ground. This is easily a 3-foot wide hole that's almost 100 feet into the ground. I'm not even sure the well pump that I have is going to be appropriate for this. I'm hoping that it is. I hope it all works out. I'm thinking maybe if I have to, I can run some perforated PVC down into the well and then slide the pump inside of that. Maybe like whenever the well pump starts up, maybe it torques and starts kind of moving around in there. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if it does happen, I have a backup plan for that I think will work. Yeah, guys, get to know your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors, help your neighbors, and they'll help you. Now I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to show you how I pump water into our RV out of these jugs. So, first things first, here is the Primo 5-gallon water jug. This is the same water jug that you would put in like a water dispenser at like a home or an office, wherever you dispense water. So, whenever you refill these at the store, they don't recap them. So these are just 10-cent balloons. You get 10 of them at the dollar store for $1. But this isn't going into a water dispenser. This is going into my Coleman camper here. So how we do this is you take this balloon off and just chuck it somewhere. You don't need that anymore. You're going to need some kind of pump. We started out, I'll show you what we started with. We started with a 12-volt Drummond pump from Harbor Freight, and this lasted 2 weeks before it failed on me. I guess I ran the seals out or something. There's like rubber dust inside of here, so I guess I just ruined the seal on it. I don't know, but we don't use it anymore. Now I'm just using the $10 drill pump, and I like this one a lot better because it actually pumps faster. So we're going to stick our short length of hose into the jug. I have it running from the pump to a regular old Taste Pure RV water filter. And then my blue hose here is running to the water inlet on my camper. So now I need to grab my drill. We're going to open up the chuck a little bit. Maybe close it a little bit depending on what I was doing with it last. You're going to slip this onto the drill pump, tighten that down. I like to have it on the number 2 setting just so it goes a little bit faster. And once that's on there, you want to be careful not to get your drill too wet. But this only works if you have your jug on an elevated surface and you know how to make a siphon. So if you don't know what a siphon is, it's just drawing water from one container to another using gravity to create a vacuum to keep the water flowing. So you gotta, give it the old hot to it and, suck on it till something comes out. Then just tighten that back on there. Run your drill. And you can see water is coming out of here at a pretty decent rate. I gotta go make sure my hose is all the way into the camper. It looks like it's leaking out a little bit. You can't go too fast or you'll blow your hose out if you don't have somebody holding it for you. I'm gonna go ahead and run this whole jug into the camper. I only have about 10 gallons in there right now that I put in last night. I'm just gonna add this 5 gallons to it. It doesn't really take that long, maybe a minute or two. Now, using this method, you'll never get all of the water out. So what I do is I just give that, whatever's left over, I just give that to the dogs. And just like that, I've added 5 gallons to my camper. There should be close to 10 or 15 in there now, maybe 12. Now, for water usage, we go through 20 gallons about every 3 days. So this is not a bad system for just the 2 of us and a few dogs. Obviously if you're trying to do this with your family, you're gonna have to scale it up. You may not even want to use a drill pump just because of how long it would take, and you gotta stand there and hold it. I wouldn't get the 12-volt pump. Maybe if I had been starting a siphon on it like I do now, it might have lasted longer, but it pumped water until it didn't. So, it is what it is. But this little drill pump here, you can pick this up at Harbor Freight for 15 bucks. And it's worth every penny. Even if you don't use it every day like I do, or almost every day like I do, it's handy to have around in case you need to transfer some liquid from one container to another. Now, would it be more economical to take your camper to a campground where you can access water and they can fill your tanks up for you? Probably. I think most campgrounds are going to charge you like $5 to $10 to fill up your camper with water. My camper is on my property and we live in it, so hooking this to my truck, dragging it to town, filling up with water is way more hassle than just taking 4 jugs to town and filling those up. And now that we have permission from our neighbors to fill up our jugs, walking distance from our house, that's going to save us so much time, and we're super appreciative of that. But if you get caught in a situation like this, go to Lowe's and get the Primo water jugs. Don't exchange them. Don't do the exchange. Take them to Publix or anywhere else that you can refill them. You can fill them for 1/3 of the price of doing the exchange. And if you talk to your neighbors, let them know what's going on, help your neighbors, be there for your neighbors. You might get lucky like us and they let us use, they might let you use their water. I'm really looking forward to getting access to the well so that we don't have to do this at all anymore. So stay tuned. We're going to get that going here pretty soon.